Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel MLT Lectures. If you are new to this channel, here we discuss everything about medical laboratory course. So don't forget to subscribe the channel. Today's topic is decalcification. In easy word, it is said D means removal and calcification or calcium. The removal of calcium is called decalcification. Now let's look in detail about decalcification. The presence of a calcium salt in the tissue makes them hard. This causes damage to the knife, difficulty in section cutting. Calcium are normally present in the bones and teeth. Calcium may also be present sometimes in a normal tissue in a pathological condition like necrotic tissue in tuberculosis. Now, at the end of this video, you will be able to describe decalcification, explain different methods of decalcification, describe the chemical and the physical tests to estimate the remaining calcium. That is endpoint determination. Now our main aim in the process decalcification is to remove calcium salts from the tissue and make them amenable for sectioning or easy for sectioning. Now to decalcify a certain tissue, we should prepare it. So, the calcified heart tissue should be first cut into small pieces 2 to 6 mm with using a thin blade, hacksaw or a sharp knife in order to minimize the tearing of the surrounding tissue. Further, the process is followed by fixation in a buffered formalin or any other desired fixative. After fixation, tissue must be thoroughly washed and excessive fixatives should be removed before the specimen is subjected to decalcification. Now, in this video, we will learn 5 different methods of decalcification. They are acid decalcification, ion exchange resin, electrical ionization, chelating method, and lastly, surface decalcification. Decalcification process should satisfy the following condition. Complete removal of calcium must be seen, minimal distortion of the cell morphology, and no interference during staining process. Decalcification is a straightforward process, but to be successful, it requires a careful preliminary assessment of a specimen, thorough fixation, preparation of a slice of a reasonable thickness, the choice of a suitable decalcifier, a careful determination of the endpoint, Now, method of decalcification. The tissue is cut into small pieces of 3 to 5 or 2 to 6 mm size. This helps in faster decalcification. The tissue is then suspended in a decalcifying medium with a wax thread or a nylon thread. The covering of a wax on the thread prevents the action of acid on the thread. The volume of a decalcifying solution should be 50 to 100 times of the volume of the tissue. The decalcification should be checked at the regular interval. Here, the points to be is the tissue should be about the size of 3 to 5 mm and the decalcifying solution should be 50 to 100 times the volume of the tissue. Now let's look into detail of each method. First one is decalcification by using acid or acid decalcification. This is the most commonly used method. Various acid solution may be used alone or in combination with a neutralizer. The neutralizer helps in preventing the swelling of the cells. The acids can be divided into two groups: strong acids and weak acids. Mostly used decalcifying acid solution are aqueous nitric acid, that is containing nitric acid 5 ml and distilled water 100 ml. In this nitric acid solution, if the tissue are left for a long time, this may damage the tissue. It gives yellow color. This solution gives good nuclear staining and a rapid action. Next solution we have is nitric acid formaldehyde. This has rapid action, good nuclear staining. In this process, washing with water is not required. And formalin also protects the tissue from maceration. Next acid solution is formic acid solution containing formic acid 5 ml, distilled water 90 ml and formalin 5 ml. In this solution, the decalcification process is slow. If the concentration of a formic acid is increased, the process is fast, but the tissue is damaged more. The trichloroacetic acid. This is a weak acid and the most used decalcifying solution. This is used for small biopsies. The process of decalcification is slow, hence cannot be used for dense bone or bony bone pieces. Here formalin 10% is used, that is 95 ml, and trichloroacetic acid 5 gram. Next method we have is ion exchange method. In this method, the ammonium salts of sulfonate polystyrene resin is used. The salt is layered on the bottom of the container and the formic acid containing fluid is filled, as shown in the figure aside. The decalcifying fluid should not contain a mineral acid. X-rays can only determine complete decalcification. The advantages of this method are faster decalcification and minimal damage of the tissue. The resin used can be reused again after washing it with 10% HCl solution. The third method we have is electrolytic method. Formic acid or HCl are used as an electrolytic medium. The calcium ion moves towards the cathode. This electrolytic method is a rapid decalcification, but heat produced may damage the cytological details. Fourth method we have is chelating agent. Organic chelating agent absorb metallic ion EDTA. We use EDTA as a chelating agent here. The EDTA can bind calcium forming a non-ionized soluble complex. This works best for the cancerous bone. This is the best method for decalcification of bone marrow biopsies, as it preserves cytological details in the best. EDTA solution contains EDTA, formalin and distilled water. Last one we have is surface decalcification. This is done after the decalcification is over and if the remaining calcium is present in the surface of the tissue. The surface layer of apparent fin blocks are here inverted in 5% HCl for an hour. About top 30 micron is decalcified. It should be washed thoroughly before cutting. Factors that affect rate of decalcification are concentration of decalcification solution. The higher the concentration of decalcification agent, the faster is the reaction. Temperature. The rate of decalcification increases with rise of temperature. Density of a bone. Harder the bone, it takes longer time for decalcifying. Thickness of a tissue. Small tissue pieces decalcify earlier. Agitation. Agitation increases the rate of decalcification. Now, methods to determine endpoint. The specimen should not be crowded together and should not be contact the bottom of the container in order to provide complete decalcification. Over decalcification can also permanently damage specimen. Some of the methods to determine endpoint are X-ray, chemical testing, and physical testing. The most accurate one is the X-ray technique. Now, let's see about the chemical test. 5% ammonium hydroxide stock solution and ammonium oxalate stock solution are used in an equal part to determine the endpoint by chemical test. Procedure of chemical endpoint determination is as follows. Insert the pipette to the decalcifying solution containing the specimen. Withdraw approximately 5 ml of the hydrochloric or formic acid decalcification solution from under the specimen and place it in the test tube. Add approximately 10 ml of the ammonium hydroxide ammonium oxalate working solution. Mix well and let it stand overnight. The ammonium hydroxide ammonium oxalate solution is crystal clear. Decalcification is complete when no precipitate is observed on the 2 consecutive days of testing. When we see no precipitate in the crystal clear solution of ammonium hydroxide ammonium oxalate solution, then it is said that decalcification process is complete. If precipitate is seen, repeat the test every 2 or 3 days. Physical test. The physical tests include bending the specimen or inserting a pin, razor or scalpel directly into the decalcified tissue. The disadvantage of this physical test is it may introduce in the tearing of the tissues and making a pinhole artifacts. Slightly bending the specimen is safer and less disruptive, but will not consecutively determine if all the calcium have been removed or not. So, the method to determine endpoint of the decalcification process is by using X-ray. Thank you. Hope you like the content. Please like, share and subscribe the channel.